Hello and welcome back to Figure Barn. Now today we're diving into the wonderfully weird world of Tim Burton, where ghosts, aliens and oddball misfits reign supreme in Funko Pop form, with some of the most iconic collectibles inspired by Burton's twisted imagination. We've got 10 to go through today, covering the chaotic and charming Beetlejuice and the bizarre brilliance of Mars Attacks. From ghostly grins to extraterrestrial invaders, these Funko Pops perfectly capture the strange, spooky and stylish essence of Burton's films. So as always, grab your popcorn, dim the lights and let's step into the world where things aren't always what they seem. Let's get started. Beetlejuice is a 1988 gothic dark fantasy comedy horror film directed by Burton. The story follows Adam and Barbara Maitland, a recently deceased couple who find themselves trapped as ghosts in their own home. When an eccentric new family, the Dietzes, move in, they struggle to scare them away. Desperate, they turn to Beetlejuice, a mischievous and chaotic bio-exorcist who promises to help, but his unpredictable antics soon spiral out of control. Now, the film was a critical and commercial success, grossing $84.6 million on a $15 million budget. It won the Academy Award for Best Makeup and several other Saturn Awards, including Best Horror Film and Best Supporting Actress for Sylvia Sidney. Its unique blend of dark humour, quirky visuals, and Danny Elfman's iconic score helped cement Beetlejuice as a cult classic. Following its success, Beetlejuice expanded into other areas, including an animated TV series that ran from 1989 to 1991, imagining the ghostly trickster as more of a comedy character, and into video games, and even into a stage musical in 2018. After years of speculation, a sequel entitled Beetlejuice was officially released in 2024, bringing back Michael Keaton as the mischievous ghost, alongside returning cast members like Winona Ryder and Catherine O'Hara. So we've had 22 pops released covering the Beetlejuice movies so far, with 17 from the original film and another 5 from last year's sequel. The ones we'll be going over today are all from the original 1988 movie and were released either late 2024 or through this year. And we'll start off with a special edition of Beetlejuice himself in the form of a snake. Now, after Barbara and Adam Maitland attempt to frighten the new homeowners but fail, Beetlejuice takes matters into his own hands, morphing into a monstrous striped serpent with his own face replacing the snake's head. He terrorises the family until Barbara forces him to stop and sums up Beetlejuice's chaotic nature and Tim Burton's signature visual style. So as you can see by the sticker here, this is a standard special edition one that we get here in the UK. In the US, I believe this one could have been found in Hot Topic. Now, it's a great pop, this one. As you can see, Beetlejuice's face is still recognisable, but it's morphed into a snake with the slit eyes and the large mouth there full of fang-like teeth. The body's been completely transformed into a standard sort of snake, coiled around a couple of times, and you can also see the large rattle there on the end of the body. Now, turning around to have a look at the back of the box, there aren't any more figures actually shown, as this was the only pop that was actually released from the original movie last year, and just shows an image of a sandworm there. We'll come back to him a bit later on. And here we have a more recognisable version of Beetlejuice sitting atop a tombstone. Now, the image of Beetlejuice sitting on tombstone is one of the most iconic visuals, I suppose, from Beetlejuice, and comes from when Adam and Barbara visit the graveyard-like realm where he lives. Now, this one's a Pop Plus, which means that it's a bit more detailed than your standard pop, and you also get this rather snazzy box with the metallic-y bits as well. And he's shown with his classic black and white striped suit, as you can see. Now, an interesting fact is that he only actually wears that suit for about 2 minutes in the whole movie, although it's pretty much all he wears in the sort of cartoon that was based around him. So maybe that helped it stick in people's consciousness as his sort of standard get-up. And as you can see, he's got the deep-set rings around his eyes, the slightly rancid green rotting skin bits there, and he's sitting on a tombstone, which is even sporting the original sort of actual engraving designs that they used within the movie. Now, there is a glow-in-the-dark version of this one where his hair glows green, which in the UK I think you can pick up from HMV or Entertainment Earth in the US, but as you can see, we just have the standard one here. Next up, we have Delia Dietz, the eccentric and over-the-top stepmother of Lydia and the wife of Charles Dietz. A self-absorbed artist played by Catherine O'Hara, she's obsessed with modernising the Maitlands' old-fashioned home, filling it with bizarre sculptures and avant-garde designs. Now, initially dismissive of Lydia's gothic interests and the supernatural, Delia eventually comes to accept the presence of the ghosts that are in her home. So this is another good sculpt which captures a character perfectly in line with the actual movie, with the standard black dress and the very red hair, even including the sort of lightning strands down the side there, and the fairly distinctive earrings that she's wearing as well. Now the hand with the red tips that she's holding here comes during the Dietz' dinner party, when she and her guests are possessed and forced to dance to Harry Belafonte's Deo or Banana Boat song. Just when the scene reaches its peak, the shrimp cocktails on the plates suddenly transform into these monstrous hands that you can see there, grabbing their faces and pulling them down. Now, Delia Dietz does return in Beetlejuice, once again played by Catherine O'Hara. Now, I'm trying to avoid too many spoilers, but her role continues to explore her love of avant-garde art and her unique perspective on the supernatural. Following on, we have Delia's stepdaughter, Lydia Dietz. Now, Lydia's the gothic, sharp-witted protagonist of Beetlejuice, played by Winona Ryder. With the ability to see ghosts, Lydia is fascinated by the supernatural and quickly befriends the spirits of Adam and Barbara Maitland. She becomes the key to stopping Beetlejuice's chaos, proving to be both intelligent and brave. So this figure here, it perfectly captures pretty much the last scene in the movie where Lydia returns from school excited to share her grades with Adam and Barbara. So as a reward for doing well, she starts levitating, dancing in midair to Harry Belafonte's Jump in the Line, or Shake Sonora as it's sometimes known, along with a deceased American football team. And again, this is a very iconic outfit for Lydia, in what I guess is a school-determined check skirt there, underlaid with a black, more gothic one. It's got a brooch on her left side of her jacket, and one arm out doing her dance moves. Now, I don't know if you can actually see, but the pop itself is actually on a stand, so that she's actually sort of levitating off the ground, rather than standing flat on the floor, which is a nice touch and a nod to the movie as well. So earlier I said that we'd come back to the sandworm, and here we have it. Now the sandworms in Beetlejuice are monstrous snake-like creatures from Saturn, known for their aggressive nature and eerie black and white striped bodies. They appear twice in the film, first when Barbara and Adam accidentally step into the afterlife's desert landscape, and later when Barbara rides the sandworm to stop Beetlejuice's chaos. So this one was a Funko exclusive, as you can see from the sticker here, and was picked up direct from Funko Europe. And there's another pretty weighty pop, one that fully fills the box here. Now there's loads of detail on it as well, starting off with the opening mouth with the red eyes that you can just about see up there, and the black and white teeth revealing the second head, and the mouth inside with the yellow eyes and the red spots in between. Now it's nicely accentuated by the blue surrounding the lips, which really make the sort of pink insides pop out really nicely. And naturally all that head needs to be supported by a big, thick, coiled black and white striped scaly body. Now this is definitely one of the best pops that we've had so far this year, in my opinion, certainly from the movies line. And to wrap off our Beetlejuice pops for today, we return to the main man himself, a shrunken-headed Beetlejuice. Now near the end of the movie, Beetlejuice finds himself stuck in the Neitherworld waiting room, sitting next to a witch doctor. He tries to swap ticket numbers to get ahead in line, but the witch doctor isn't too impressed, casts a spell and shrinks Beetlejuice's head into this tiny version of itself. So this pop has a similar feel to one that came out of Bob from the Beetlejuice movie last year. I'll put an image up here, but it's clearly not just a repaint, which is a good thing. And this time we have Beetlejuice in his red suit, his ruffled shirt, and black and white polka dot bow tie. And as you can see, he's holding the number 4 ticket that he cheekily swapped with the witch doctor, which causes his head to be this itty bitty version that we see here today. Now these figures are quite fun, where they invert the standard oversized Funko heads into something much smaller. They just sort of mix up the collection a bit, although some people I know aren't too sure about them, but I will agree that they don't look like your standard Funko Pop. Now as you can also see, this is another special edition one, which was a Entertainment Earth exclusive in the US. I'm not 100% sure who the UK retailer was on them outside of Funko Europe, but there we go. From supernatural scares to alien madness, it's time to swap exorcisms for explosions as we move on to Mars Attacks. Now Mars Attacks began as a trading card series released by Topps way back in 1962, featuring violent and darkly humorous depictions of an alien invasion. Cards became infamous for their graphic imagery, leading to controversy and even bans in some areas. Decades later, Tim Burton adapted the concept into a 1996 sci-fi black comedy film, blending retro alien invasion tropes with satirical humour. The movie featured an ensemble cast, including Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan and Natalie Portman. Now, Earth is thrown into chaos when the Martians arrive, claiming to come in peace. However, their true intentions are revealed when they massacre humans at their first contact meeting. As the invasion escalates, the world scrambles to fight back against the big-brained aliens who gleefully destroy cities and landmarks. So, there's previously been one pop released from Mars Attacks way back in 2012 as a very limited 480-piece figure from the very short-lived sci-fi set. Now, it was only found at San Diego Comic-Con, and there are a lot of fakes of this one about, but if you wanted a legit one, you'd probably be parting with at least £1,000 or $1,300. Now, we don't have that one, but what we do have is 4 pops from the movie set that were released this year, starting with the Martian Ambassador. So the ambassador arrives in the Nevada desert, claiming to come in peace before massacring the assembled humans. He later appears before Congress, only to annihilate the politicians in another brutal ambush. He then makes his way to France to negotiate peace with the French president, only to gun him down too while Martians destroy the Eiffel Tower. So he's not the most friendly guy in the universe, but here he is in his ambassadorial robe, which almost has the look of a glitter or a diamond collection figure to it, with the glitter on both the gold piping around the edge of the collar and actually down the red robe as well, which is a nice touch. As you can see, he's holding his Martian ray gun, which he uses on us lowly humans, and has his big bulbous skull-like head enclosed in his space helmet. Now, a big feature of these Mars aliens was their exposed brains, which have this sort of green pulsating area at the front of them. But one thing I would say is they haven't really picked up is the red, intense eyes that they all have in the movie, with these figures just having a plain white design, but they're still super cool nonetheless. And our next member of the Martian mob is the Martian Spy Girl. Now, she appears as a glamorous, silent woman, using her eerie beauty to lure unsuspecting victims, as well as biting the finger off and ending the press secretary Jeremy Ross when he tries to remove her gum. She then sneaks into the president's bedroom but is distracted by a bird, allowing security to gun her down. Once the death is broadcast though through her ring, it triggers the Martians' full-scale invasion of Earth. So this is a very iconic character in the movie, played by Lisa Marie, and shows her in the long flowing white dress with the red swirls all over it. There's no feet shown, as in the movie she just sort of floats about from place to place along the ground. Now on the mouth it's got the bright red lipstick there covering the disguised portion, while the other side shows the Martian side where the mask has sort of fallen away after her encounter with Ross. Now it's also got the over-exaggerated blue mascara above her eyes, the massive blonde beehive hair that covers the dome-shaped Martian head that's underneath, and you can also see that it has the ring on her finger there, which has like a large red eyeball in the middle to transmit images back to Mars. Now, Tim Burton and Lisa Marie were actually engaged from 1993 to 2001, and she appeared in most of the productions that he made during this time. Burton ended their relationship following the premiere of 2001's Planet of the Apes. Now, Marie did have a role in this film as well, as did Helena Bonham Carter, who Burton began to have an affair with during the filming. Following on, we have a Martian soldier here with his blaster. Now, the Martian soldiers in Mars Attack are basically the ruthless foot soldiers of the invasion, known for their skeletal grins, their oversized brains again, and their deadly ray guns, of course. They gleefully annihilate humans, destroying cities and landmarks with very little remorse. So this one, I believe, was originally supposed to be numbered as 1875 instead of the 1877 that you can see here. But it wouldn't be the first time that Funko's had issues with their numbering and quality control standards, but we'll let it slip, I suppose. And they're shown here in their full battle stance, ready to wreak havoc, and in their standard issue green spacesuit. Now, similar to the other Martians, his bulbous brainy head is covered in this clear vinyl space helmet, and he's holding his blaster, which shoots off green and red lasers, essentially setting everything on fire it comes into contact with. Now, one thing I didn't mention on the Ambassador is that they've got these strange little flappy gill-like bits to the side of their mouths, and they also have these purple earplugs as well, which I guess are for communicating through their helmets. Now, looking at the back of the box, it does show all 3 of the figures that we've seen so far today, and does confirm as well that yes, this one should be 1875 rather than the 1877 that it shows. And finally, wrapping up our Martian Uprising and Tim Burton-a-thon is the proper 1877, another Martian soldier, but without a blaster this time. So this one as you can see by our sticker down here, is a Speciality Series exclusive pop, which I usually intended for non-chain independent stores, but I'm not convinced it's as clear cut as that these days. Now this one for me was picked up directly from Funko Europe. Now it's a bit of a strange one, this one, to have as an exclusive, as it actually has less detail than any of the others, but shows the Martian soldier again. No weapon this time, but it does give a better view of the details and the ridges on his green suit there. Now you can see his metal chest plate better as well below his helmet, and the tubes that go round the back into the dark orange tanks on the back of his suit, which really do sort of stand out against the green suit there. Now, as well as this common variant, there was also a chase of this one, which shows the poor fella with half his brain blown out and his tongue sort of sagging out the side of his mouth. It also glows in the dark as well, so the green glow comes from the exposed brain, and also a little bit of Martian blood that's dripping out the side of his mouth. Unfortunately, we weren't lucky enough to pick that one up, but it's another one that's on the list, as it is quite a cool pop, that one. Alright, so that's a wrap on our Tim Burton Funko showcase. From ghostly tricksters to Martian invaders, these pops bring everything in Burton's wild imagination to life, one vinyl figure at a time. Whether you're conjuring up chaos with Beetlejuice, dodging ray guns in Mars Attacks, or just admiring the weird and wonderful worlds of Tim Burton, these are another batch of pops that are a must-have for any fan. So if you got a favourite, why not drop it in the comments? And if you love all things spooky, surreal and spectacular, hit that like button, subscribe, and maybe hit that notification bell for more Funko Pop movie showcases. So until next time, stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, there's always another story to tell. We'll catch you in the next one.